நான் இதை எதிர்பார்க்கவே இல்லை. அவர் இவ்வளவு ஆழமாக அதை வாசித்து இவ்வளவு அழகாக எடுத்துச் சொல்லப் போகிறார் என்று. அவருக்கு இருக்கும் நேரம் பழு நாம் அனைவரும் அறிந்தது. இன்று இரவு திருப்பி பாம்பே போகிறார். சென்ற வாரமும் பாம்பேயில் இருந்தார் என்று எனக்கு தெரியும். அந்த பிளாஸ்ட் எல்லாம் நடந்த பொழுது I was worried slightly whether he was there or not. We cannot afford to lose a national treasure like you. And bombs are blasted with fools. Good evening, everybody. Dr. Kamala Hassan and my friends. This is a favorite place of mine, a haunt, and this is my favorite actor for many decades since I was very young. And it is unbelievable that I should be able to launch my first book in the presence of both this. Thank you. I think I'll briefly say something about from my point of view. Whatever he said was really, it went into the depth of the book, and ஒரு வாசகரால் உண்மையிலேயே நான் எழுதியதை இவ்வளவு புரிந்து கொள்ள முடியாது. அதுவும் இவ்வளவு is really great. We know that. You should see his biodata. Something unimaginable. Not only his acting talent, but he puts his everything into his profession. Gives his soul and heart and body to it, and that is why he is what he is now, the one and only Kamala Hassan. About the book, I took some 10 or 12 years to write this, and there are a few people, my friends, who wanted to know why I gave this title, and true enough it comes from Tagore. But apart from that, அது நிஜமாகவே அந்த மாயமான் பொன்மானை தேடி இல்லாத ஒன்றை இருப்பதாக பாவித்து நல்லானை விரட்டி எல்லாத்தையும் தொலைத்தவள் சீதை, நமக்கு தெரியும். அதே மாதிரி அந்த மாரிசன் பொன்மான் கதையெல்லாம் உங்களுக்கு நன்றாக தெரியும். But the term comes from Tagore. You may smile, my friends, but I am hunting for the golden stag. I run across hills and dales. I wander through nameless lands because I am hunting for the golden stag. You come to the market and you go back laden with goods, but the spell of the distant winds has touched my heart. I know not when and where, so I am stuck to this ground. I am hunting for the golden stag. இந்த கதையின் நாயகனாக கருதப்படக்கூடிய நரேந்திரன் is hunting for the golden stag. அதனால் தான் இந்த டைட்டில். He is a seeker of the eternal truth, meaning of life. It sadly is not really there. That's what I feel. When I set out to write this story, I decided on 3 things. I wanted to take a small slice of time, say from 1900 to 2000. I know you will feel that it's not a small slice of time, it's a 100-year period. But still, it's only a drop in the ocean when you consider it in the perspective of eternity. And I wanted to say, at least bring some events into it, all that happened during this period of time. It was a very difficult task, but I tried to the best of my ability. Things like the introduction, entry of TV, which youngsters will never be able to understand. We were without TV at one time. And the invasion of this gigantic electronic gadget called computers. It has something unimaginable again. And on the political side, things like the assassination of Indira Gandhi and the Mandal Commission report. It started with VP Singh. It was only started as a tremor, and now we are at the tip of an avalanche, I think. But also, as he said, I wanted to bring out the typical Tamil psyche, the Tamil consciousness. By Tamil consciousness, I don't mean the language alone. There are certain things that are critical to us. You may ask me whether there is any such thing. இல்லை, உண்மையாகவே இருக்கிறது. தமிழர் என்று ஒரு இனம் உண்டு, தனியே அவருக்கு ஒரு குணம் உண்டு. And it lives, it's vibrant in the heart of Tamil Nadu, in the villages, in the towns and smaller cities of Tamil Nadu. Chennai is a world in itself. So I have little to say about that. There are certain things like cinema. நமக்கு ரொம்ப பிரியமான தமிழருக்கு உகந்த விஷயங்களில் சினிமா ஒன்று. கிரிக்கெட், குற்றாலம், தீபாவளி, விருந்தோம்பல், அதிகாலையில் எழுந்து காப்பி குடிப்பது, தாய் வீட்டு அரவணைப்பு, இன்ன பிற விஷயங்கள் இருக்கின்றன. And on the deeper side, darker side, we have Hindi education, which did not happen anywhere else. We are the crazy people who still fight against Hindi. And when I was a student in college, it was a very common thing. And then we have the emergence of the Dravidian parties, DK, DMK, ADMK. These things add a special, unique flavor to the political scenario in our state. And again, the severe impact of caste consciousness, which gets more and more severe as you go further south. That had to be touched upon. And of course, the augur of terrorism. You might ask me what terrorism has to do with Tamil Nadu. But I differ, because we know a child in every other household in Tamil Nadu lives abroad. And whatever is happening in the US and the Europe definitely touches us, and now we know it's very much in our doorstep. Bombay is only, next it might be Chennai, anywhere else. So whether we fret or fume or froth in the mouth, it seems to have come to stay. So these are the things I've just reflected. I'm not trying to say what is good or bad. I've only tried to say it is there. Please look at it. And but basically this is a love story between a man and a woman. A glorious, incandescent love story between Agila and Narendra, which withers into a failed marriage and speaks about the inefficacy of a late affair and the inconsequence of human life. And if you as a reader, if you are able to find the tip of the string, and if you are able to hold on to it, the string that binds these events and characters together, then you will start living in this book, as I think Dr. Kamalasan has done. He has been able to find the main theme that I wanted to talk about. But if you let go of the thread, you will be sunk into the inanities of everyday life and you will lose the essence. So good luck to you readers. If you wish, I can read a few lines if you have the time. And start with something familiar to all of us. Kuttalam, a snug little town that throbbed with life from May to August, when the rain-fed waterfalls gushed forth with startling power and arrogance, to reawaken in September for a brief spell and then go back to sleep for the rest of the year. People simply soaked themselves in the refreshingly cold water, ate, strolled about the narrow streets, had another bath, ate, played a round of cards, bathed, ate, did a bit of shopping and bathed again. It was a merry-go-round. Class and community distinctions were thrown to the winds, and it couldn't possibly have been otherwise when men had to stand shoulder to shoulder under the rolling casket. A pervading sense of well-being helped them relax and inhale the herb-scented breeze of the Western Ghats with deep satisfaction and peace. Something more serious. This is about caste. There is a nephew and mama combination here. Narendran is the nephew. He has a discussion with his uncle about caste. But mama, really, the whole nasty thing leaves such a bad taste in the mouth. Are we eternally damned to be forever bogged down in this quagmire of caste? When we have an established 2000 years or more of civilized life behind us, what excuse do we have for being so crassly parochial in this time and age? Chandrasekharan took his time to reply. There is no death knell for human conflict, Naren. We keep fighting like little children over a useless toy, and then we make up when presented with a better one. But now, in today's political scenario, caste is a weapon. A double-edged one? Maybe, but one cannot drop it. Not if you wish to safeguard yourself. From whom and what? Is it not a free country then? What would you have the common man do, Naren, when there are two levels at which society functions? For every blasted thing, there is a certain price for those who know the powers to be, and a drastically different one for those who don't. Equality? Tell me another one. Are you by any chance trying to justify all this nonsense, Mama? Naren, who needs any justification? Definitely not the man in the street who has to fight tooth and nail for school admission as well as for a pot of drinking water. So what does he do? He tries to entrench himself in a group, creates a shield, an armor to fight if necessary. Identifying himself with a particular caste could come in handy at election time. If it's a large enough group, he could put up his own candidate. And if the guy wins, sure, he won't let his clan down, for he can't afford to. Now he set himself ablaze, and the nation stopped in its tracks. We are still waiting to get up from that. And finally, about the auger of terrorism. Are we not of the same kind, or are we birds and beasts in a bind? Insects and iguanas, mice and mollusks, clumped together in rigid husks? Are we not Homo sapiens? Erect, elegant, sensible, sensitive? No longer it seems. Thank you. Are there any questions?
Why is there so much pathos, sadness in the end of the book? As Dr. Kamala Hassan should be knowing, all movies end with a happy note.
Life is not a very happy business in America. So whatever happens, as I said, there is some happiness in between the start and the end. ஆனால் வாழ்க்கையிலும் மகிழ்ச்சியானதா இல்லையா என்பது இதுதான் என்னுடைய கண்ணோட்டம். I try to reflect life again. அந்த பேர்ல் பக்கோடைய புக்கில் குஜராத்தில் பார்த்தா ஃபர்ஸ்ட் லைனே, if you know that life is sad, you will be happy again.
How do you classify this book? Under what category would this book come under?
It's up to you. It has a lot of history, sociology, some cultural impressions, but all done by an amateur. I am not a historian or an anthropologist, but I have tried to write about my impressions.
Being a student, how should I approach this book?
I think our students should know about certain things. I'm glad you asked this. Everybody is interested in reading only thrillers and romantic novels, and of course you don't have the time now. You are really pressed for time. But there are certain things that our elders have failed to tell the children. And I've taken the risk of being called a boring writer by presenting all sorts of things that are really important. Classical music, classical dance, Siddha Vaidyam, Varma Kalai. There are things in our tradition, in our country, that should be told. Whether the children like it or not, they should be able to identify with it. அது என்னுடைய தவறல்ல, பப்ளிஷர் வைத்திருக்கலை. அப்படியா படிக்கலாமா? இல்ல அது வந்து நான் மேபி அவர் அது அவ்வளவு ஒருத்து நினைச்சாரோ, நான் வைத்தவில்லை கிடையாது.
கொக்கோ கோலா 15 ரூபாய்க்கு குடிக்கும் போது